If I want this app to be worth $1 million, then it can't just be another place for you to hoard all your stuff. It needs to be alive, intelligent, and surface the stuff that you need when you need it. So we're gonna design a robust notification framework that should hopefully do just that. I don't wanna give away the sauce, but this is fire. At first, I had absolutely no idea where to start. I decided that it would be smartest to reverse engineer the problem. What kind of notifications do I want? For example, you still have 5 unused workouts in your workout collection. Stop being lazy. The point here was just to get my mind flowing in the right direction and to start to understand what data would be required in order to be able to generate these notifications. Once I had a list of example notifications, then I needed to take a step back. What would the framework need to know? What would it need to be aware of? And this is difficult because each notification is very different and there's a lot of dynamism here. And so I went down this list of thinking, okay, well, it needs to have some awareness of time, some awareness of the actual data that we're talking about. Is it a workout? Is it a restaurant? Is it a collection? Is it stuff like that? And so I went through that list. The hardest part was the selection strategy. What do I mean by that? Because the notifications are so dynamic and there's so many different kinds of notifications that are possible, how we select which type of notification and how to structure it is going to be difficult. And the selection strategy moves us into step 3, which I'm calling when, how, and how. When would the logic run to build them? Maybe in the morning when the user is sleeping, so that all of the day's notifications are generated at one time as a batch. How? We have 2 options. 1, Apple has a background task scheduler that is supposed to allow code to run in the background. It's kind of intermittent. It's not reliable, so I'm nervous about that. The second option would be to have a server send a silent push notification to the user's device, wake up the app, and then trigger the logic. I really hope I don't have to do that. That's just way more overhead. But one of those ways, that's the how. Okay, cool. Now we come to the how. The how. The hard part. How are we actually going to generate these? What is the logic? It's time to build this bitch. I decided to start simple. Trigger. Sometime, somehow, this logic is going to trigger. And what's it going to do? And this is where I had an idea. This is the idea that made this all make sense. Given that we have so many different types of notifications, it would make sense to define those different types and all of their type-specific things. And we can call this a format. It's repeatable. For example, if I had a notification that said, you saved this restaurant 2 days ago, want to revisit it? That format would say, hey, if we want to generate this type of notification, we need to know how long ago the thing happened and what we're even talking about, a restaurant. Another example is 50% of your workout collection is not completed, where the format would define what collection we're talking about and the usage completion of that collection. And we'll have a list of formats to pull from. And another thing that we can use as an input into this flow is time. From how far back are we looking to surface this information? We can pull from a list of timeframes, a week ago, a month ago, a day ago, and we can combine that time frame with the format into a random function. Now the random function does exactly that. It searches the data store and pulls out a random piece of data, a random collection, a random AI extract, a random save. And what it's really going to do is it's going to pull a piece of information that is required by the format and is going to pull all that data together into one object so that we have context of the entire chain of data. So we have a time, a format, and that gives us context chain. And now we can take all 3 of those things as inputs, run some sort of generation function that uses AI, and then we're done. And that's it. Whew. Now I got to build it. This is going to suck. This is sick though. Low key, I'm hype. And that's it. That was my thought process. This is weird. Like I've never done this before. If you like this type of video, please let me know.